Red versus blue, just the way I like it. We have DkH.Rain spawning in at the lower right part of the map. This is spawning in as the red undead versus oHLe spawning in as the blue undead in the upper left corner of the map. This map is Ancient Isles, and we do see right off the bat a little bit of variation. We see that Rain going for the Altar Crypt build, while we do have oHLe perhaps going for a Ted Fiends build or something like that. It's a fast altar versus, well, they're both got fast altars, but this is more of a standard way to play ghouls, and this is more of a standard way to play fiends. We'll see. Of course, the ziggurat for oHLe is out faster, which means he will be able to get that Death Knight out, or whatever hero he goes for, much faster. Normally when you go like this is normally a Ted Fiend build, so normally you'll see a Death Knight. Over here for Rain, we might see a Death Knight or a Lich. Really, either one is standard for this matchup with this build, so we'll see. And the way he's building his base makes me want to say it's probably going to be a Lich, but of course you can play. It's really that's just a haunch, you know. So take that for what you will. We'll see. This again looks very much like a Ted Fiends build. We'll see if he puts up a graveyard, then it's going to be a Fiends build, and if he doesn't, then it won't be. Pretty much, very simple. You can see a Death Knight for oHLe, and a Lich coming in for Rain. Nice, I called it. That's right. That's my that's years of undead playing for you right there. It's my intuition, you could say. Yeah, this is gonna be a Lich Ghouls, so it's nice to see some variation. So Lich Ghouls versus Death Knight Ted Fiend build. We'll see what happens. Now, in this sort of situation, there's a lot of options on the table for Rain, and not so many options in the early game for oHLe, because whenever you're doing Ted Fiends versus a Lich Ghouls, if Rain decides to creep, you have to harass. And your general goal is to harass anyway with this build, because you can't really creep very effectively, because essentially what happens is you tech fast, and you're going to have some fiends being built maybe after you tech. You might go for fiends before you tech, but then that kind of defeats the purpose of the build a lot. I mean, you can if you need to, but generally you want to just tech fast with this build, and we'll see him probably go for that. And over here we can see Lich. Of course, Lich Ghouls just have a lot of options you can harass as well, especially a base like this where it's very open. There's not an early Nerubian tower. Of course, there's still time for that. And he's going to go, actually, we're going to see oHLe going for the second Ziggurat before teching, so we might actually see a Crypt Fiend coming out first. And if he does that, that would just be kind of for the early game protection. He knows that there's going to be ghouls probably from Rain right now just because of that Acolyte Scout. Done a good job with that. And here we can see it looks like Rain moving that Lich straight over to his base. And this could be something very interesting because he's going to be able to get skeletons from this critter right here. If he comes in here, then this will have a skeleton charge from as well at the graveyard. So he could have a very effective harass if he goes for that, or he might even go for a creep, but that would be odd because very difficult to creep this just a Lich and 2 skeletons. So we'll see if he does that, but I don't think so. We'll have to wait and see. Over here we can see he already has a Nerubian tower up himself. Nerubian tower on the way for oHLe, but it's going to take some time to get up, and Rain may very well just be hitting just in time. He's going to go ahead and get up a second charge of Skeleton Warriors. I don't know if he realized that it was a Ted Fiends build that he's playing against, because there's already a skeleton charge in the base, but we'll have to wait and see. And here we do see, yes indeed, that early Fiend coming out, 2 Fiends in fact coming out before he techs, just trying to defend himself against this harass. We already have Rain teching right now, and Rain is doing this harass pretty well. We'll see if that Acolyte will go down. If he does lose any Acolytes, it's going to be a big issue for him. In this case, it's still lots of action right now in the early game. oHLe can lose Acolytes much more efficiently. As you can see, he's probably going to go ahead and lose both of those. While there goes an Acolyte for Rain, and Acolyte won't be able to replace that before his tech finishes. So that's the big difference right now. oHLe going to be able to replace that no problem before he techs. So we'll see. We'll see if Rain decides to stop his tech. I don't think he's going to stop his tech though for 1 Acolyte. He might stop it for 2. So if he loses this one, that could be a problem. He's about halfway through this tech. He really does not want to lose this second Acolyte. That's a big issue. Needs to get this. Yes, indeed. Moon needs to move the Nerubian tower there. Nicely done. Keeping it on the Death Knight, doing a ton of damage. And this is a really important thing. Doing all this damage to the Death Knight is going to allow that Lich to basically just Nova and kill it. So then Lich is very low as well, but not enough mana for a Nova just yet. But he knows where that Death Knight is. He's going to come in here, wait just a little bit of time, and if he stays on the high ground, then he can just Nova and kill it, and no problem if he just waits long enough. He just needs to do that, stay out of sight, so that oHLe doesn't see the Lich, and then once the Lich has 125 mana, kill it. Actually, it looks like oHLe, well aware that that was what his tactic was going to be, and suicides to creeps. That's not a bad choice. No experience given to the Lich, and what you get to do is you get to get 170 gold refill on your hero, so it's going to bring him back to full life and full mana. So not a bad choice, really. For at level 1, it's just not a bad choice at all. We can see, and looks like oHLe still has not teched. So you can see that Rain about to hit tier 2, putting up a graveyard right now. He is very much ahead in this game. quite a bit ahead. In fact, we can go ahead and see that there are fiends out for oHLe, so oHLe is going to be able to start creeping before that hero even comes back out. This means that he's going to be able to have all this experience hit, well, unless he decides to finish the just a mistake. It happens, you know. So yeah, the Death Knight didn't get any experience while when you die, when you kill something while he's reviving, but you know. You know, that's life. So we do see it looks like Rain gonna go ahead and throw down 2 more acolytes. Probably gonna have 1 for a shade at some point. Of course, 1 just to replenish the fact that he's here. We can look and see how much damage has been to his economy. He's not. That's not that bad. He's only about 100 gold behind oHLe at this point, and oHLe has now begun his tech. So that's well worth it. Being 100 gold behind to get a tier ahead, well worth it every time, I would say, without a doubt. Up here we can see that oHLe not in a bad spot whatsoever. Up here, just creeping with those fiends, gonna be able to creep very quickly. Of course, we do see Rain creeping as well now with ghouls. Not gonna be able to creep quite as fast, but it's gonna work as well for creeping. And I believe that's a sacrificial pit right there. And we're going to see it looks like, yes, indeed, tier 3 on the way for Rain. Very, very fast teching, getting to tier 3. And if you get to tier 3, you get your orb. And if you get your orb first in this matchup, it's a big deal. So we'll see. And, of course, also the Lich hero level is really the bigger important factor in this matchup. Having a level 3 Lich having a level 3 Death Knight and a level 1 Lich isn't nearly as powerful as having a level 3 Lich and a level 1 Death Knight. Because it gives you a lot more focus power. It's just very, very, very big deal. Now when it's Fiend versus Fiend, it's not as big of a deal because it's a lot more balance there, and arguably maybe even having a DK3 is better in that situation. But as the game progresses, the higher the level the Lich is, the bigger the advantage. So that's usually how it works. We're gonna see Rain now running into this base from oHLe, running in skeletons first just to get the scout off. Looks like we might see oHLe coming in here, just going to go ahead and try to cancel a crypt. Looks like maybe Rain wants to do some Ghoul Guard build. Gonna see that shade, and this crypt's gonna get canceled. Yeah, it's canceled right there. And of course, there's 1 ghoul just doing a little bit of damage. Might lose that ghoul. It's gonna go down. Yeah. Still not tier 2 on oHLe yet. Just losing some acolytes now, going to put him very far behind in the game. Of course, Staff of Teleportation, he's staffing back to his base with his Lich. He'll be able to now easily defend his acolytes, no problem. Won't lose any of the acolytes. About to hit tier 3. Massive, which is ridiculous. And there's only, lost 3 acolytes for that. Rain didn't lose any, so oHLe is definitely far behind at this point, as you can see. I would say that oHLe probably is going to lose the gold advantage. In fact, he has lost the gold advantage. Now Rain has mined out more than him, about 100 more. And by the time that all 3 of those get up, you're going to see that oHLe is just going to be quite far behind for gold right there, maybe 200 or 300 gold behind, a tier tech behind. Not all of this is bad. Gonna go ahead and see the experience being stolen by a Nova right there. Really well done by Rain once again, making a lot of really good moves in this game. We're seeing oHLe going with the Dark Ranger second, picking that up right off the bat from the Tavern Hero. Might have been a smarter idea to just let this oHLe get level 3 on the Death Knight first, but hey, if he hadn't gotten that stolen, he still would have hit level 3 there. So, you know, it wasn't a bad choice necessarily. But here comes that orb on this Lich. I'm sure we're seeing maybe Frenzy Ghouls. Yes, indeed, here they come. Wow, so this is a very scary army. About to hit level 3 on that Lich. Of course, Rain is at 26 out of 30 food. So, a very interesting play, and that's including this Death Knight that's now coming out. So, you know, there's a Boneyard coming out as well. Okay, Rain's doing something very intriguing. Very intriguing. Yeah. I'm not sure what to say about it, but the Circle of Nobility being picked up on that Lich, it's an interesting strategy. I mean, if he can survive this, and I don't think he's going to have any problem because he does have a level 3 Lich and Frenzy Ghouls, these fiends aren't going to do anything against that. I mean, I think he's going to be in a really good shape. Yeah, as you can see, just say how much damage that 1 Lich does, just 1 Nova. Going to force, of course, the coil, of course, since the fiend didn't die. It's really not a lot of really damage, but still. He doesn't have enough mana for a Nova, just harassing because of the fact he has the orb. And buying time, he has his Boneyard up, now he just needs some Ziggurats, and he can make worms. And if you go worms, you can go Focus Fire strategy. If you get a couple of worms out, and get 3 or 4 of those out, and a Nova, maybe pick up a Dark Ranger third to silence the DK, and you can pretty much kill any hero you want. You can say, well, there are webs. There's going to be fiends, so there's going to be web. That's true, but fiends will go down so very fast to Frenzy Ghouls and a Frostworm. There's really nothing that those fiends could do against Frenzy Ghouls and a Frostworm. There's just not enough of them, and these heroes aren't high enough level, and there's not a Lich on the field yet for oHLe, so that's a problem. Here you can see that one of those is going to get coiled, but it looks like one of them still in a bit of trouble here. It might go down. Not enough mana for a Nova yet, but just going to be enough for an auto attack. Just barely getting that coil off in time. Well done by oHLe, trying to keep his units alive. oHLe just still behind in the tech, but he's on it. He's working on it right now. About to hit tier 3. If he gets out the Lich and he gets out just the orb on his Lich or something, gets out maybe some destroyers. He could be able to do something here. I mean, he does have the experience advantage. He does have a lot of other stuff. We're seeing a Dreadlord coming out 3rd for Rain. Not a bad choice. It's a very old school style strategy that we're seeing come from Rain. Let's see, 666. Yeah, as you can see, that we're gonna see. It looks like the shade from Rain gonna get killed maybe by a dust or something right there. Probably a dust. Yeah, definitely a dust. As you can see, it's on cooldown when he bought another one. So there you go. Will we see that being immediately remade? Yes, indeed we will. And oHLe is going to scout that with his Lesser Dark Minion right there, no problem. And of course he is looking at that because he did just stop it from attacking the Black Citadel. Moving it down here. Seeing, oh, what Boneyard? He sees it now. There's already one worm out though, so this could be a bit of an issue if Rain decides to take map control, which he can do at any point at this point. Sure, we're going to see the Lich. Yep, there's the Lich. oHLe not doing poorly. I wouldn't say he's doing poorly. He just behind on the tech, but he's been able to make up for it really without any issue here. Now Rain's just trying to push his tech advantage right now, creeping very aggressively on the opponent's side of the map. Gonna get an Ankh of Reincarnation, pick that up on his Dreadlord. That's gonna be a really good item to have. And here you can see it looks like Rain getting that Death Knight level 2. I'm sure. I'm sure he's gonna finish this creep off. But yeah, what Rain could really use at this point is a healing scroll or 2. Definitely could use that in a fight, upcoming fight. And with the Dreadlord, we might see Vampiric Aura being picked up. Oh, a Sapper has been picked up. Now, a Sapper could be a very big issue for the undead unit, or for oHLe. A Sapper right here would kill both of these Ziggurats. So I don't know if it would kill both of them. I think one would be left at 1 HP, but it's essentially going to do a lot of damage. And so they're essentially both going to die because, you know, if Rain goes for that, he's actually just going to suicide it into the Nerubian Tower instead. Why not? Go straight for these Acolytes back in the back. Going to kill at least 3 of them. 3 of them do go down. You see that Dreadlord taking a lot of damage, immediately taking a lot of focus fire, but that Lich hasn't come out yet. Has it? I don't see it. Is he? Never mind, it has. It was just in the back there, not in range to kill it, it doesn't look like. So that's unfortunate. Couldn't Nova it and could not attack it with the orb, so that was a little bad. But not the greatest TP location, but not a bad TP nonetheless. And honestly, the fact that the Sapper only took out the Nerubian Tower, not taking out 2 Ziggurats when it could have done that instead, not necessarily a mistake from Rain's part, because, you know, he did it for a very specific reason. It was a Nerubian Tower, it was a slow. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to say that it was a bad decision. I'm just going to say there was maybe a better decision. Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, he still would have had to get the Sapper over there, because, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to just go ahead and look. We can see that there are now 2 Frostworms up. Looks like he's going to keep those ghouls in his base for a little bit. Here comes some Gargs. Frostworm Garg strategy. Yes, indeed. You can go ahead and see that TP coming in here from Rain. Go ahead and sleep the Lich. Try to keep that alive. Actually going to lose the Frostworm. So there you have that. oHLe playing really well right now. Taking map control. Not really concerned about the Frostworms at all. And of course, without the Frenzy Ghouls in the fight, you're not going to be able to do very well. But losing a Frostworm is very expensive. It takes a lot of time to rebuild them. It's 7 food. It's a lot of resources. You don't want to lose them if you can. Yeah, so we can see over here now oHLe is 3 and 2, so 3 on the Death Knight, 3 on the Dark Ranger, 2 on the Lich. He does have destroyers at this point. They are 1-0 upgrade. He is going to go ahead and buy himself a Sapper. Say, you know what, Rain, that was a good idea. Let's see how you like it. Rain's probably not going to like it. The question is, will Rain be able to actually go ahead and defend against that? He could kill it, potentially. If he can spot it in time, he does have a Sapper on it. So if he's paying attention, he sees it already, and he'll just nuke it down. You can see that he's going to have to probably coil the Dreadlord, though. That Sapper is still in the back. Sapper is going to come in here and make a beeline straight for that Nerubian Tower. Oh! Down goes the shop and the Nubian Tower. That's a really good sapper, doing a lot of damage right there, picking out 2 of those buildings. Really well done by him. Rain, of course, still at 53, trying to get another ziggurat out. Now, at this point, losing the shop is going to be a big pain, though. Rain can win this fight, no doubt, though. He does have Gargs to deal with the destroyers, and he has Frenzy Ghouls and a Frostworm to deal with the Fiends. So all he needs to do is get the positioning now. Gonna go ahead and use gonna have 2 Frostworms out now. Gonna use 2 Wands of Illusion and let those come in first. That will allow him to immediately go ahead and take the majority of the focus fire and the web right there. As you can see, one of those Frost Novas was used on that. We can see that nice coil being used by oHLe as he goes ahead and ignores that. Gonna see, will that shade go down? Yes, indeed. Of course, dust being used by oHLe first, entering this fight. Here comes a second shade, though, or maybe the first shade never got caught. I don't know. Now you can start to see those Fiends going down, though. 2 Fiends already down. You can see that oHLe's Death Knight also taking a bit of damage. Doesn't really want to switch to the target on the Death Knight too much, but there he does go ahead and do that. Forces the TP now. Gonna go ahead and sleep the Lich once again so he cannot get a final Nova off on this Frostworm. Really nice play from Rain. Really, really nice play. Again, I don't know who this undead oHLe is, but he's very good nonetheless. That was a really good fight. He's done really good so far in this game. His early game was a little bit outplayed, but honestly, it's hard to do that. So it looks like we're going to see a pause real quick. No problem. And yeah. Whew. Yeah, still paused. All right, there we go. Sorry, go. Looks like the game's gonna resume right now. There we go. We have Rain. A lot of damage on this Frostworm in general, as you can see right there, but not enough mana to coil it. Just have some stuff going on right there. Also, I read the stream chat there, saying the stream's low quality in general. Thanks. It means a lot to me. I'm just messing, but anyways, yeah. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not an actor at all. Not at all. But anyway, so yeah, back into the game. We do have oHLe. I don't know if he has map control right now or not. I would say against this army right here, this size of an army, probably not. This army does do a good job of dealing with Fiends, does do a good job of dealing with destroyers, and we'll have to wait and see. Of course, oHLe gonna go ahead and throw down a Temple of the Damned. Getting some Banshees up with Anti-Magic Shell would be a good choice. That will allow him to cast Anti-Magic Shell on units. And an Anti-Magic Shell, essentially what it does is it says, hey, I'm going to cast this thing on you, and it's going to absorb 300 magic damage done to you. So yeah, you can go ahead and see these ghouls are going to go down from oHLe, and we can see a TP coming in from oHLe. Maybe the ghouls won't go down, actually. Going to see him try to cancel that temple and TP out as well. Actually, really nicely done by oHLe to get those ghouls out there alive. I think Rain maybe could have killed them, but hey, whatever. I don't know if he killed. I think he might have killed 1 because he only has 2 ghouls now, and I'm sure he would have had 3. So I don't know. At some point, I think one of his ghouls has died, regardless of whether one died right there or not. Of course, there are still 2 Frostworms back here inside of Rain's base. Rain just has a penchant for leaving units on the Blight to heal up a bit. As you can see, these ghouls are down to 3 ghoul count. Not the greatest situation to be in, really. And Rain now just going to pump out 2 more Gargs. I think he probably wanted to get rid of a couple ghouls. He probably wanted to have 4 Gargs. 4 Gargs is a good number, but at the same time, he can really just be breaking upkeep pretty soon if you'd like. Maybe bank up a little more, pick down maybe 1 more Ziggurat. We'll see. Is he being outbanked? He's not being outbanked, but there comes that Temple of Damned once again. And he's going to try to creep up this camp right here, and this will be, I think, the last creep camp on the map. There's a shade right here for Rain, so he knows where oHLe's going. This game is pretty close, honestly, I would say. I wasn't expecting to be this close after they started the game. I did think Rain was going to walk over this guy, but that's definitely not the case. oHLe proving to be a very competent player. You can see that oHLe has a Destroyer to scout, and Destroyer pretty safe to scout. I mean, honestly, it's probably not going to die. Not even to Gargs, just because as long as you're paying attention, it's just going to run away to your army, and Gargs really don't want to chase into that. But here we can see it looks like oHLe trying to catch him off guard. Might be able to catch out the Dreadlord, but probably not going to happen. Just going to get a little bit of damage, just 1 or 2 hits, nothing that won't be regenerated very quickly on Blight with Unholy Aura. Unholy Aura. Yeah, so now it looks like Rain decided to break upkeep. Just getting this massive air army. 2-1 upgrades. Let's see, what upgrades does oHLe have? 1-0. oHLe is out upgraded. That could be proved to be an issue, but we'll see. The big issue for Rain right now is that he also doesn't have destroyers. So if this Banshees decide to go curse, there's nothing he can do about that. But I mean, truth be told, I mean, he could curse the Frostworms. That would be effective. Because there are only a few of those, and those are all high damage units. So cursing those guys would be a good idea, I guess. But I mean, besides that, without cursing gargoyle is not really the greatest use of your mana. So still has to go ahead and make them. He still has to upgrade them to have anti-magic shell. They're still initiate. At initiate, they only have curse. Once you get them to what's it called, adept, that's their first level of training. Then they have anti-magic shell, and once they get to master, which is their third level, they have possession. Possession's pretty cool. Of course, totally useless against an air-based army because you can only possess ground units. So yeah, it looks like just those 3 goals coming in here. We do have stone form being researched right now. Yeah, there is a sleep coming in here to start this fight. Here comes in Rain. Gonna go ahead and try to initiate, take over the skies. I'm gonna go ahead and go for these destroyers with the gargoyles. As you can see, just putting a couple of gargoyles on each destroyer. Well, I say that most of the gargoyles were actually just webbed right there. Not gonna really make a huge issue. But here we do see curse being used in excess on everything, and the Dark Ranger has gone down for oHLe at this point. Hard to see what's going on with all these air units and stuff. But indeed, we do see a sleep going off onto oHLe's Lich. We're going to see that Death Knight from oHLe taking a lot of damage. Going to be forced to use an Evolt Potion. I would say Rain definitely significantly winning this fight. Trying to use some Burrow from oHLe to keep his units alive. There's still a Shade right there, though. It looks like a sleep on the Death Knight. The Lich is going to go down. Down goes the Lich. He did have an Evolt Potion, but there you go. And, yeah, it looks like oHLe pretty much giving up at this point. Of course, he has lost, so, you know. But really well done by Rain, just taking that fight. Took his time in this game, and he said, I don't know. Oh, illusion worms. Oh, I see. Yeah, he did have some illusion worms in that earlier fight. But yeah, Rain took his time in that game, and he played very patiently, and it worked out really well for him in the end. So nicely done. Creeping up the map, as we saw, that whole map got crept out. So not the most entertaining to watch maps being crept out, but hey. There was lots of engagements in that game, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will now be looking for the next game to cast. So, that's what I do. I look for games to cast.